There's a huge shift mentally that happens when we really embrace being alone. Like, think of it like you have a blank canvas and you have a paintbrush in your hand. You can really paint a picture of exactly who you want to be without someone else in their paintbrush coming along and throwing in colors that don't match what we got going on here. So it's come to my attention that some of you have issues with being alone. Either you hate being alone, like you hate being by yourself, or you love being alone, but you're constantly made to feel bad about it. And this is often because society does its best to make us feel like if we are not constantly surrounded by people, then we're doing something wrong. I know how frustrating it is to struggle with the idea of being alone. And so in this video, I wanted to talk about, why it's important to become okay with being alone, but also how I've gone from a person who used to hate being alone to someone who is now making a video telling you about why I like being by my damn self. Hi, how's it going? I'm Cedric, and there's been a few things in my life that I've learned through personal experience that has really allowed me to embrace solitude, and has really sped up the process when it comes to changing my mindset about how I felt about being alone all the time. I'm gonna be talking about why a lot of us really struggle with the idea of being alone and how to, first of all, fix that, but also how to thrive in this new way of thinking. There are a couple of things that completely changed the game for me, and I feel like I've learned so much along the way. I look at life completely differently now, and I promise you that by the end of this video, there's going to be at least 2 to 3 things that you're going to hear that are going to be exactly what you need to hear in this current moment. Okay, so first of all, I just want to clear up a common myth or misconception that I feel like a lot of people have when thinking about being alone or just battling loneliness overall. Most people believe that being alone or loneliness is unfixable and that you are going to be alone for the rest of your life. Or that it says something deep and disturbing about you as a person because you just can't seem to make any friends or whatever. I know firsthand what it feels like to be alone, by yourself and just wishing that you had more friends, more people that you can count on and rely on. But what's important to remember is that just because you are alone right now doesn't mean you're going to be alone forever. But even knowing that, it can still be incredibly isolating and frustrating, especially when you look around and it seems like everybody got somebody. Or as a young person, I think a lot of us see, posts on Instagram and things like that. And it just feels like everyone is around other people all the time. Everyone seems to be in groups of people. Everyone seems to have really tight-knit friend groups. And so you then in turn feel like, I need to be around people all the time. Why am I not going out? Why am I not, networking and enjoying life? And I really do feel like FOMO hits you hardest in your 20s. But I think we often forget that everything in life is temporary. Whatever you're going through right now, you will not be going through in a month or 2. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met somebody new and you guys just clicked and it just felt like they fell out of nowhere? Like they just landed in your lap at the perfect time? I truly believe that, whether it's the universe or whatever you believe in, puts people in your life at the time that you need them the most. So I hope that gives you a little bit of alleviates a little bit of your stress and frustration because someone is on the way. Even me, I'm here. Hi, how are you? This period of solitude and being by yourself is just a phase. It is temporary and it is going to pass. So take a deep breath and realize that it's not going to last forever. And once you acknowledge that and you're able to truly accept that, that is the first step to truly recognizing how amazing things can be when you are by your damn self. I'm telling you. Here's a secret that it took me forever to learn. Being by yourself is a gift. You're probably thinking how is it a gift? I feel awful. I have no friends. I'm by myself. But being by yourself is a gift because it really allows you to go on a uninterrupted journey of self-discovery. You really can find out who you are. This is a golden opportunity for you to really reconnect with yourself and without any distractions or anybody giving you their opinions or whatever, figuring out what makes you tick. For example, I know there is something that you have wanted to do or learn how to do, whether that's painting, learning the guitar, crocheting, clipping your toenails. There is something that you've been wanting to do that you've been neglecting because you didn't have the time. And look at that. Now you ain't got nothing but time. This is your rare chance to really reconnect with yourself, especially if you're coming out of a long-term relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship or even a friendship. Consider this for a second. If you were just in a long-term relationship with someone, you have spent the past couple of months or couple of years, whatever it is, being completely emotionally tied to this individual. Oftentimes, you probably don't even make decisions without involving them in some way. You probably haven't visited any new places or had any new experiences without at the very least going to them and being like, hey, I'm going to do this, or will you come with me? You now have the opportunity to do whatever you want. You have a moment to breathe, reflect, and grow, but on your own terms. And so in order to really start to change your mindset around being alone, one of the first things you have to do is start to make time to do all the things that you really have always wanted to do. Make some time for yourself. Like if you have to, put it on your calendar or set an alarm. Like even 10 to 15 minutes is enough. Like really just start to reinvest back into yourself and make time for the things that you have always wanted to do but just didn't make a priority before. And these could be simple things like reading more, taking walks every day or so for 20 minutes or whatever, doing some yoga to get the body moving, get some joints working and everything. Make a list of all the activities that you've been wanting to do but just haven't been able to make the time for, and prioritize them during this time by yourself. Especially because you don't have to think about anybody else but you. During this time, you don't have to consider anybody else's opinions or thoughts or whatever about anything. There have been so many times, and I know you've experienced it too, where you're around a friend or a loved one or whatever, and you really want to do something, but you don't do it, or you don't even ask to do it because you know that they are not going to be interested. So you just say, I'll find time to do it on my own, but then you actually don't. But when we're by ourselves, we don't have that burden. That burden is off of our shoulders. So we really are free to just focus on ourselves. We get to discover what we really like, what we're really into without any outside opinions or outside perspectives muddying up how we really feel about something. For example, for me, something that I like to do in my time by myself is work on music. I love making music. I'm a singer. If you didn't know, I sang at 80 weddings last year. But working on my own music has always been something that I have, neglected because there's just other things that are priorities, and I can't do that with people, obviously. But that's something that when I'm by myself, I can literally be like, I'll start a song and then I'll blink and it's been 12 hours because I just get lost in it, and I don't know, it's just fun. It's one of those things where like you do it and you finish and you feel so like, wow, there was something in my mind and I put it out into the universe. Like you feel like you're doing the thing you're supposed to be doing. That is what you should be doing during your time by yourself. That's just one example, but really take this time to hone in on the things that you really truly enjoy doing, the things that make you feel alive, that really bring you happiness. Now that's definitely a good first step, but I wouldn't even say that's like the most important skill you need to have when it comes to changing your mindset. The most important skill I think you need to have when it comes to learning how to love being alone is learning or relearning how to take care of yourself. Oftentimes we pour so much energy into everyone and everything around us that we forget what our needs are and how to nurture ourselves. So it's best to do little things here and there that your future self will thank you for. This can be something as simple as taking your clothes out of the dryer and actually taking 5-10 minutes to fold them and put them away instead of just letting them be, and then you have clothes everywhere that you have to sort through later. Or it can be something as simple as making a healthy dinner or lunch just so you don't feel awful later on and you feel like you actually are, nourishing your body with good vitamins and nutrients and proteins and things. We need to be doing the same things for ourselves that we do for other people. We need to be setting up our environment for success and proving to ourselves that we can provide the same care and thoughtfulness that we so often do for other people. Now, this next part might be hard to hear, but I think you need to hear it. Being lonely is very painful, right? One of the reasons why being alone can suck so much is because, a lot of us use other people as kind of a form of silent validation. Like having friends and family and stuff around us gives us this reassurance that we matter. Society often sees having a full calendar of friends as like proof that you matter, that you hold more value than others. And it's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that our self-worth is somehow lessened or smaller when we're not in the constant presence of other people. So in this video, I don't mean to downplay the pain of loneliness, because it sucks. Like, it is not a great feeling. Like, there's a reason why one of the worst forms of punishment is solitary confinement. Like putting somebody in a room and leaving them by themselves for hours, days. Like that sounds awful. I cannot imagine being in a room with myself for days. But the hard truth that I'm getting at is that while all of that is true and all of that is valid, it does not change the fact that the only person that can get us out of this funk and get us feeling better about being alone is ourselves. We can be supported by people, obviously, and I hope this video is an example of that. There are people out there who really want what's best for you and are willing to lift you up and support you. But at the end of the day, like, it's still on you to do what is necessary to feel better about your current situation. But there's a huge shift mentally that happens when we really embrace being alone. Like, think of it like you have a blank canvas and you have a paintbrush in your hand. You can really paint a picture of exactly who you want to be without someone else in their paintbrush coming along and throwing in colors that don't match what we got going on here. We need to be doing things that bring us a sense of joy without needing an audience, right? Like, grab a coloring book and paint Elsa purple while you're listening to Kali Uchis or New Jeans and you got Jujutsu Kaisen or something going on in the background. Like, do what makes you feel good. Create the environment that feels good to you. Doing that allows us to build a foundation of self-worth that is not reliant on other people and, any external validation. And as we learn to appreciate our own company, we really start to understand that our value is intrinsic. It doesn't come from constantly having people around you. Like, we don't need others to define our worth. Like, what you mean? And doing this over time starts to have so many little ripple effects. Like, for example, the more we can hone in on the things that we really like, the things that we don't like, what we're passionate about, the more passion we're going to feel towards protecting those things. So in the same way you would protect a friend, you then start to protect yourself more often. You have more self-respect. You're able to stand up for yourself a lot easier. And being alone, especially after a relationship, that's when you really start to recognize, what do you want in a relationship? What do you want in a future boyfriend, girlfriend, friend? And then we can start to look for those qualities in the next person that comes into our lives. Like, do you want someone who's compassionate, someone who is loyal, someone who's smart, someone who can read? Like, these are important things to know, not only to know what to look for in the next person, but also to recognize what about us we need to change in order to then feel deserving of that person. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but I do think it would be helpful for me to give you a couple of things that you can do right now just to get you in a better headspace. So pick one of these things and promise me you were going to do one of these things today. So here are your options. Do something active, whether that's inside or outside. Make yourself a nice meal. Doesn't have to be a salad, but don't make a burger with Krispy Kreme buns. Go to bed earlier than usual. Don't just stay up on your phone all night. Do something that helps you practice mindfulness, like go on YouTube, find a 10-minute meditation video, or write what happened in your day in your journal. Call someone, a friend, family member, someone that you can call and just laugh with for, 10 to 15 minutes. Do some type of hobby that you've wanted to do for a while, like look up the Britney Spears song and learn the choreography. Or my personal favorite, have a pamper yourself day. Draw up a nice bubble bath, get you some nice relaxing music on, or whatever works for you. Get you some candles, clean all that dirt out of them fingernails, clean out your ears, and brush your teeth. Now, all those will work, but whatever you do, brush your teeth. Taking care of ourselves is not complex, but it can be very difficult, especially if you're already feeling bad about yourself. That's why I want you to just pick one thing from that list and don't worry about anything else. You are not going to be alone forever. Like, you don't want to be alone forever, and the universe doesn't want you to be alone forever either. So really use this time to hone in on who you want to be and who you want to attract. Because like I said before, someone is going to come into your life regardless. Like, sooner or later, they will show up. And the last thing you want is for some gigolo to come into your life and ruin everything you got going on. So those are my tips for, just becoming more comfortable with being alone. I hope it helped. Comment down below and let me know what you chose to do. And yeah, I love you guys so much. If you want to see more of my face, a video is waiting for you right here. You wanna jump on it because I know you got this high. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.